Pose. Stretsu. Kiski. Shomini. Grip. Shihani. Grip. Otagani. Grip.
Yawn. Before we get going, wanted to chat just a little bit, because it's come up in conversation several times the past couple of weeks, so I thought it'd bore a little bit of discussion. For those of you that have been around a while, you know that my big thing is mindset. I don't care much about, technique, straight and all that stuff. It's all in your mindset. It's most important, at least in my opinion. How many people in this world can make you personally, do something? I won't go for one.
Make
Anybody, make you do something. Make you do something. Why do you say one?
For using the term make in the sense of Japanese causative, the English word make, sir.
Make as in, I'm gonna make you do something. However you wanna rephrase, I'm not gonna rephrase the question.
You can say none.
Why do you say one?
Self.
Oh, okay. How many people in this world can intimidate you?
Several.
Huh?
Several.
A lot, I think.
Several.
Several, okay. Well,
Infinite amount.
okay, the answer to both of those questions is either 0 or 1, depending upon how you want to phrase it. If you want to phrase it like Case did, I'll give you 1. The answer to that, both of those questions is 0. You can only allow yourself to be intimidated. Somebody who's trying to intimidate you hasn't physically done anything to you. So you either leave, fight, or talk your way out of it, one or the other. As far as make you do something, nobody can make you do something. You choose to do things. Your boss comes to you, do this or you're fired, okay? There are consequences to your choice. They can't physically make you do something. I gotta take your hands and make you do anything. There's a choice and then living with the consequences of that choice. Intimidation, no one can intimidate you. You can only allow yourself to be intimidated. Right up to the point that they swing, pull a gun, whatever. It's just your response to their actions. So when people get intimidated, it's their brain not allowing them to believe that there are options. There are always options. Somebody pulls a gun on you, there are options. Fight, comply, run away, right? Each one of those comes with a consequence, which leads to another choice, and another consequence, another choice, another consequence, another choice, another consequence. That kind of thing. But don't ever think that there are not any options. There are always options. It's just a matter of whether you can live with consequences or not.
Thank
All right. Enough of that babble. You know what to do, go straighten them out. You gotta shift over a little bit. Yeah, that'll work. All right, feet together, Musubidachi. Your hands, just kind of maybe stick your thumbs in your over, you just put them out of the way because they're not going to bother me. Neko Ashidachi, cat stance. Right. For those of you that have not been through this before, how we're going to start? We're going to start heels together. You're going to take one natural step forward, whatever that is for you. For most people, that's going to put you about heel-toe-ish. Right? Your front toes are going to be pointed straight ahead. Your back foot is going to be pointed somewhere between about 30 and 45 degrees, depending upon what you're thinking about. I prefer a more narrow back foot, which is where my Musubidachi is here. And I step forward, it just stays. John James prefers a wider back foot. What we all agree on is that no more than 45 degrees. This is too much. It'll get too wide in just a minute. All right. And what I want you to do is I want you to put your weight on your back leg and squat like you're getting ready to sit onto a chair. Front foot You're gonna lift up on the ball of your foot, grip them with toes, both sides. This should put your belt knot at about a 45-degree angle.
Is,
Okay? If it's not, I want you to settle your weight so that it shifts your hip. Once. Now, when we step forward, your front foot is about to become your back foot, so you're gonna put it down at whatever angle you prefer. We do our half moon and sit. And much too long, Scott, much too long. There you go. Up on the ball of your foot. There we go. Set the front foot. Through. Sit your weight. And much too long, Scott. That's better. Now, we're just gonna step back. We're going to step back and reset. Step back and reset. Grip the ball of your front foot. Now, the sensation you want is about 90-10. You want this front foot really light. This is for kicking-ish. That's another thing. Step back. Back. Sir. Hey, you're starting to freak me out, dude. It's getting really weird. Alright, coming forward. Hey. Relax all the shoulders. Too much. There you go.
And now you're going to load, so the next block, so you
Right
go
there.
here, come across and shift back to the first one.
Then set the front foot at whatever angle that is. Make your half moon come forward. Hunt.
And then you step forward and you
A little short. There you go. A little more bend in that base leg. For a very, very long time, if cat stance does not hurt, you're not doing it right.
is,
Sorry, but that's the way it is.
is.
Hey. A little more hip angle. That one. There you go. Oh. Foot. Rope. Oof. Hey. Hutch. Hip. Two. Stepping back. Hey. Hey. Son.
don't worry about the speed.
Sheep. Hold. Rope. Feet. Hey. Good. 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 Come on. End up, relax, shake the legs out a little bit. Funny story time. To illustrate my point. The angle of this back foot does basically one thing. It either opens the pelvis or it closes the pelvis.
So when you step forward,
John James likes that 45
foot,
foot, which to me is too open and exposed. His works for him. I'm not going to argue with him. He does what he does very well, and it works for him. I like a more narrow foot for one reason and one reason only. I was in Virginia with Hanshi many years ago. There were 3 guys that came from Japan to train. Kiyama, Mienu, and Nakagawa. 3 days into training, it's about 4:30 in the afternoon. August, we've been training outside for 3 days. It's 110 degrees, 100% humidity in central Virginia. We're doing Basai Dai, which is, Shodan Kata, I think. Nakagawa is teaching the class. He spoke 4 words of English. I speak about 4 words of Japanese. So he's in the class. I'm not the only one in class. I'm tired. where you get to the part in bust side die where I'm like this. I'm letting that leg drift out because my legs are killing me. I couldn't hold my weight up. He comes over and he rips off this string of Japanese that flew right by me. I caught none of it. I'm like, I'm trying to understand. I don't understand. You know, those are two of my 4 words right there. He kind of backs up and does the same thing. I mean, he rips off this string of Japanese, went right by me. Again, I'm like, sorry, I don't understand. You gotta realize he's about that tall, not that big. He backs up, boom, and put this front kick on the inside of my lead leg, taking the good bits with it into my back thigh. Came up, went, oof, and pulled that foot back in. Because that string of Japanese went, move that foot. I wanted to figure that out. That's why I like them more narrow, rear foot.
You were able to stay standing after that, sir?
Sorry?
You were able to stay standing after that?
Oh yeah, you die in defeat in situations like that. Yeah. Alright, was leg pretty good? Good. What you do is step out, left neck washidachi, hidari churan shutoke.
Right.
Hey. Coming forward, you're going to set the front foot as this hand comes across and low. Hey. Step. Block. Hey. Let's do it. All one way. Hey. Oh. Oh. Hey. Punch. Good. This time we're actually going to turn. When we are in cat stance, front leg turn is easiest. That's normally what we do. So again, eyes, feet, hip, hands. So eyes first, foot's going to cross over. As the hip starts to go, I parry, load, and block. Like that. Right. Good. Hey. Hey. Up. Cheat. Oh. Oh. Hey. Touch. Here. Like that. Hey. Put the hand. Your kiki here is across your solar plexus. It's flat. If you put a teacup there, flat. We'll get the Y here in just a second. Hey. Hey. Oh. Good, Scott. Hey. Oh. Oh. Hey. Touch. Good. Yeah, front leg turn. Like that. Right. Good. Hey. Hey. Up. Hey. Oh. Oh. Reach. Touch. Good. Like that. Right. Good. Young man. When it comes to cat stance, there are There's the Hanmi version, which is what we do. Again, Han half, so angled hip. Other styles,
So, one more,
Shoreru, I believe. Taekwondo is real big on it. They do a Mai Neko show, which is straight ahead, like walking this way. So the feet are in line with the hip, they're very flat. We do that on occasion as a transition for a punch. From here, and I punch, I transition into that square hip to make the hip drop. But we do not travel in this in Shito-ryu. When we're traveling, when we're doing anything in Shito-ryu, we're in this half angle.
In all stances or?
You can't say.
Just this.
Can't say. No, other stances we're square on. You know, front stance we're square on. You know, Shiko is whatever, half front, wherever we're going with Shiko. I'm speaking strictly about cast stance right now. Again, the two flavors is we're angled or we're square. For us, our default is this angle. Again, unless we're gonna punch, and there's a couple of kata where we show that. Again, it's a quick transition. Anything else? Right here, not here.
You're exposed with it here and it
Exposed.
covers your solar plexus is exposed.
Flesh that out a little bit. I think I know what you're saying, but I'm not sure.
It gets you ready and protected on this area here for your hand to be here versus all the way back. It feels more stretched out from here versus
Okay.
if I was punching, I still have a little, it seems like I'm already squared a bit, whereas with this, I feel like I'm more angled than I normally would be, and this is even further away, because it's kind of going this way. versus-
Okay, so you took from the angled hip of the cast stance, you're farther away.
Right, I'm closer.
Okay, now I'm tracking. What
That's
else?
kind of what I was thinking. When you're right here, you're in a straight line, the shortest distance. Right here, that's a longer distance to travel.
Shortest distance? Okay, I can buy that.
I would speculate, sir, I'd say that because it's such a narrow low stance, it feels like it's kind of meant to be used in both quarters, meaning you may not have room to pull the hand all the way back here, and then there's something behind you, you're bobbing there that you might not want to bob, so you want to be here, and it also trains you to do that punch with a shorter distance of motions there.
Absolutely, I'll buy that.
It feels like it, because of the way you're standing, it keeps you more balanced to be here than all the way over here, so it feels a little, like, it
Is
just
that
feels like I'm,
important? I agree with you personally, but is that important? I don't know, I'm asking you.
I think it is.
Okay. Anything else?
Fold is just much more natural. So from here to here,
It's the
you
same
have to fold. So you already have tilted, so you can generate a little power very quickly with a short distance from going all the way back here. Really square off.
Everybody, I agree with everything you guys said. You're right. From here, again, I'm in this angled stance. If I stand up without moving my hand in three-dimensional space, I'm basically in my normal hikita. And because I'm now angled, you know, if I pull it here, it's behind me, it's in a weird spot with this angle, so absolutely I agree. Again, Scott, this short stance, this is grappling, we'll get to, or short range grappling. And, you know, kind of a combination of what you guys were talking about, it's in line, it's a straight shot right off of that rear hip, driving forward.
It's-
It does, in a way, protect not the solar plexus per se, which is the squishy part. Because trust me, you have some guy palm heel that into your solar plexus, that hurts a lot. Ask me how I know. But what it does do is protect the xiphoid process. How many people know what that is? Anybody? No. Your sternum, if you follow your rib cage up to where your sternum starts, you'll find that there's a little divot right there. And if you press in, there's another little piece of bone that kind of sits, like if this is your sternum, you can kind of go under it, and there's another little piece of bone right there. Well, it's cartilage. and it kinda hangs down there like this. On some people, they're genetically predisposed where that sticks out. You hit that and break that off, it's bad. So this does kind of protect that somewhat. But the solar plexus, you get it hit right.
All you gotta do is bring your hand down, shift it over.
Why else here? Why not here?
Just we're practicing a shoot, so.
Right on the shoot though? Okay, I'll buy that.
Okay.
I was saying, what it, you know, if protecting the xiphoid process is a thing, then why don't we protect the xiphoid process any other time?
Trying to grappling,
Sorry?
trying to grappling.
This is an arm bar. Their arm is in here, you have a hold of it, while you're doing whatever you're doing with this hand. It's also, you know, everybody knows I like to choke people. You choke them. Setting up for that. Alright, step out, Hidari, Nekawashidachi, Hidari, Shudan, Shutoki.
So,
Hey.
this one is vertical, this one
There we go. Lead leg front kick, set it down, step forward, shoot off.
Hey.
Hey. Yep. Yep. There we go. Hey.
So we bring it across, and bring it across your body.
Done.
Protect it on the side.
Eight. Oh. Oh.
So before you step, step
Eight.
hands, so you go here, okay?
Hey.
Step. Okay.
Good.
Consider there's a rope between this hand and this elbow. So when you
Front
come
leg
across,
turn, like
you're not
that.
reaching with this, you're reaching with this.
Hey.
Now keep this one flat for what it's supposed to be.
Hey.
Good.
Done.
Okay.
Eight.
Good.
Oh.
Step.
Rope.
Now it's it.
Eight. Hey.
Yeah, it's the one that's under the trick is,
Good.
over here. Okay. No, sorry.
Like that.
Hey.
Okay, we step across.
Good. Come on.
Come up into
The
the
turn,
The turn.
There you
I've been doing this.
go. And look.
I'm not moving this over, I should, that's actually wrong or not wrong? Cause I do put it down,
It ain't wrong, it's different.
okay, it's different than most are taught.
Well, no, it's like, it is a different way of doing it, and there's nothing wrong with doing it that way, as long as you can, the only thing is that it's really relying on you knowing how to move that hip to make power. The step over gives you a more stable base in the beginning, that's why I teach it in the beginning phases, to make that turn more stable. Doing that pivot turn, it's relying on just relying on the hip motion, which is fine if you know what you're doing. So, yeah, it's not wrong, it's just different. And if you were teaching, you know, junior students and trying to get them to do that, it would turn real ugly real quick.
So vertical fist doesn't, you're not reaching with this one, it's not a full extension.
When we were doing
And you do this,
Shutogi,
that's not as far as.
both hands are working, right? We all see that?
Thank
Right?
So you still a little bit.
Which hand is the blocking hand? Depends. Not really, no.
Typically the first one, the one that's going across, not the one that ends up in the.
Well,
Whichever one where the one strike is, sir? Whichever one where the one strike is?
whichever one, depends on where the strike is.
Okay. Okay.
Kind of goes back to saying it depends. I agree with it. The
Like
answer
any
is
other
usually
double
depends. It is basic,
Just like any other double block, it's the first one that goes across.
and that's exactly where I was going with it. In Shikaru, especially our version of Shikaru, both hands are working, double blocking motion, two touch, however you wanna phrase it. The hand that is starting from the hikite is usually a striking hand.
So this one is a full extension.
Sometimes it's a blocking
So
hand.
this one is going.
As I'm here, as I'm loading across, this hand is coming off of the block, the shuto part. Here is my parrying motion. The other hand is there for striking purpose. Now, we all know every block is a strike, every strike is a block, so Scott, you know, we're talking about, depends, this could be strike and this could be, you know, whatever. But in a basic format, like a white belt teaching kind of thought process, whatever hand has done the block is your first, is the actual blocking hand from the next motion. The next block hand is a strike, hand, or some sort of grapple or some other technique.
When you turn it,
This-
just bring it around.
So, you know, to uke, which is to receive, not to block.
Okay, let's do that one.
Receiving with the blocking hand is doing some other technique. Again, that's why we're here. This is important that I come across this way as I look.
This,
Here,
this,
there's something else I wish. Oh, it'll come back to me. Alright, left cast stance, left middle shoot though. Hey, Devin block. Hey, hey, up, hey,
So back face, you roll, back.
oh,
Very similar to how we work with the.
Roll.
It's a,
hey,
it's a little bit here,
touch.
weight on top of my head, and come straight down.
Not quite so much angle on your base foot, Scott. Put toes in a little more.
So this will go
Hey.
right hand.
What there?
hey,
So while you're pulling the other hand,
Hey, up, hey, oh, rope, hey,
and you basically,
Touch.
bring it down into the
Good.
same distance.
what there?
Hey.
Yeah, all right, thank you guys for reminding me what I left out. For anything, really, but let's just stick to cat stance and shoot though. What is the timing
That's actually lower for.
between my front foot getting where it needs to go and doing its thing and the block finishing?
Push your foot first.
Foot first?
And
Okay.
simultaneously.
depends on how
Place.
skilled you are.
This. So you-
Kind of, but not in the way that I
Shoot
think
straight
that
up.
you meant necessarily. I might
Just
be-
not everything kind of settles into the place at the last
When you
minute.
get faster at it, you'll
The
get
last
here, and you'll go, and it'll come to here
I'll
and
buy
extend.
most
All
all
the eyes feed your hand, but as you get better, it looks like
It
it's the
looks
same.
like one of, right.
You
Guys
understand
whose
what you want
hands
from
are
first.
inviolate. You see these guys do their thing? If you look really close, you know what you're looking for, you will see it, eyes, feet, hip, hand, everything that they do. So the foot landing, it lands, I mean, not even an eye blink before the hand goes. So it's the gap between those things that you decrease. It's not that you leave one or the other out, there's just something. You just shorten the time between the eyes going, the feet going, the hip going, and the hand going. You shorten that gap. But what I'm seeing from too many of you is this. Where the foot and the hand are moving together in space. Sometimes the hand ends first and then the foot goes. Sometimes they hit simultaneously, but they don't hit simultaneously from the hip. I'm coming this way, my foot goes out, and the hip comes back in. It's not that I step seeing too much of that. No hip motion whatsoever, it's just the feet going forward.
Yes.
I think I told a story a couple weeks ago. Well, anyway. I don't think many of you guys know who Mark Moore is. You guys haven't met him yet, have you? Mark Moore? Okay. He's a longtime student of Hanchi's. He lives up in BFE, Georgia. We were talking about this the other day, and he had a good way of saying it. It's like, because we were comparing Tai Chi and karate. And he's done a little bit of Tai Chi, and we were kind of just talking and swapping stories. And he's like, yeah, I always like the way the Tai Chi people go left to go right. And if you notice the stuff that Sifu Anne Marie does, or that she's shown us, there's always this pull to one side before we go to the other. Did you ever think about why that was, or how that translates to what we do?
Hip motion into.
Yeah, it's a hip motion. It's just a bigger, more overt version of the hip motion. If I'm going to drive this reverse punch, I don't just forward. I gotta load the hip, so I'm going right to go left, or I go left to go right. Same thing here. I'm going left to set my hip to come back and drive. Again, the half move that we do with our feet puts the hip in that configuration.
Yes.
So as I'm coming forward, my hip's going this way to drive forward. My hip's going this way to drive forward. You kind of get this constant S-curve with your hip at a certain way of looking at it. All that to say this. The hip has got to do the work. It's not just walking forward. Step out, left cat stance, left middle shoot go. Stepping forward. Up. Feet. Go. Go. Feet. Punch. It's got not quite so much hip this axis, just this axis. Rotating around the spine, not around the pelvis. Hey. Like that. Hey. Hey. Up. Feet. Oh. Rope. Feet. Touch. Hip. Like that. Hey. Come here. Yeah, you mind taking Scott and starting to on the shoulder with him today? You three come forward. Pick a cut. Ain't got that. Why don't you show? Okay.
We're starting in this position.
Pick a motion out of
To
now, why don't you show? Teaching the one guy having to do it.
sliding into the cat stance.
Keep going. What fun is that?
Pick a bunker and.
Pick a motion out of now, why don't you show? Your choice, whichever one.
Yes.
Okay. So, when we do that phase back, we're going to read that.
Don't tell me, you're teaching them to. Take an OT.
Pardon me, sir?
You're not teaching the cop.
Right, I'm showing the one,
I got it.
so.
And a modified rising block, but this is typically the rising block.
In this case, the piece.
Hidden at an angle, this fist is kind of on our side of. Don't mind the music.
It doesn't matter how many pieces, right? It can be whatever pieces I want.
Pick someone.
Whether you're doing instep kicks, it's still good.
If you try and do the entire kata in one bunkai, I might
Well, no,
have it.
this, I'm just gonna do this because.
Outside kicks, it's still good here.
I've almost likened it to like pulling a bow. Not go full crazy with it.
Back kick,
If I
so
kick it.
load in front, kick back,
So,
bring back to the load.
I'll do it with you up here. Reach, look, turn,
The knee
pull
load
to the
is
hip.
the most important thing. to
Stand
do.
out into that
It's
middle outside block and modified rising
Maintain your
block.
balance.
It shouldn't be up here, it should be kind of, see where my temple is? It's just off this, so where I can still see underneath it if I need to, but not up here, then it's kind of getting away. Okay, next motion,
Coming down.
we're going to square this hip as we drive this across.
Sucks to
We're
be you.
leaving some still. What
Do
we're
what
gonna
you're
do
doing.
is we're gonna-
Your thought process is not wrong, it's all
This is your hammer and this is your hand.
confabulated.
So, 1, 2. Enough that it doesn't bind your shoulders up, but you gotta get it across here.
It's like this hand rotates a little bit.
Slightly, slightly. So, 1, 2, and then stand up into yoi, and then do
The next
tetsu.
one we're gonna do is begin step.
Hammer swept.
Target for that.
Right.
Soft tissue. again,
So back to the beginning.
That's really what you're aiming for.
I'm not familiar with the concept area.
Start off with the load.
1,
Not yet.
Take it out, bring it back.
Oh, you said just remember that?
The retraction is very.
That's very important to what you're trying to do, you're leaving that out.
Four.
And then.
now,
What
we're
your,
gonna do the
your
same
thought
thing, but we're gonna do
process
this side.
is
Kick.
So the first thing we're gonna do is.
really
we
on the
look,
right
make sure
track.
nothing's coming
Your
back.
expression
We take
is
this
going
heel,
15 different directions.
We turn it
So,
and
tighten
draw
up.
away slightly, and then do your middle outside block with the low hand, and the modified rising block with the top hand. And then cross with the break, stand up, into yoi, tetsu.
And you wanna make sure that your toes stay pointed, because if you try to do the one-step kick with your toes pointed up, remember.
Do that a couple of times.
No, what I'm doing all that, which is.
Same thing. Yep, keep your toes pointed.
Breaking, by.
Making sure I'm on the right page. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. I was trying to figure out where the panic was coming from.
Well,
It happens, don't worry.
okay,
The front,
back again, see?
so the front kick
I
now
can't move.
still loads the same way, so this one you do want to curl your toes up.
Okay.
We're not keeping.
First thing you
it
do
up
is
like
you
this.
look that direction.
Straight
The
up.
second thing is it's like,
If you can
like this,
your
you
foot with the
had your
face.
hands,
And this is the change.
It's not this.
Just gonna go straight out.
one hand on top, just like a
Okay,
deep
you
class
wanna
one.
curl- you wanna curl
Just
the
separate
toes.
those hands.
This is the-
Basically the same concept as the last couple of moves in Shida Hudson.
Similar, yeah, not too far off of that. Some of the actual action, when you use this against somebody, if they were going to punch, you could sandwich that punch between your hands, which
Make sure you
directs to the side.
the traction.
And then when they throw their next punch, you block it with this one and break. So that's why you're kind of pulling into your hip, and that's why they're kind of on top of each other as opposed to like this, because you won't get the same thing.
How did you want directly like that rather than directly like that rather than like that, sir?
Try me again, one time.
More like that than?
Yeah, they're more like on top of each other.
Okay.
So if I was here, I would look, I would pinch, and there was something in between, and I would pull to the hip. And then settle into that.
Which would make the
Good. Now,
you probably.
see your back foot? You gotta get that to turn towards the.
Yeah.
One thing I saw.
And then really have to,
So.
really have it happen twice, it's like.
When you start walking,
So,
when you place that foot at the angle,
same thing,
don't move it again.
load,
So,
and
What I kept
we're
seeing
going
you do,
to
is you put
basically,
it there,
we're going to
you
pivot
move,
on
and then
the
you
ball of the
settle.
foot, because we never
So
pivot on
that's
it.
when you turn this foot.
We're gonna pivot on your heel.
Yeah, I'll try it.
While you're shooting the kick
That's
out,
the angle.
so you
It's
just
already
load,
raised it.
load,
And you place it, the angle.
press right. You want to make contact with the.
Sure, you
the
got
foot
it.
over here.
So, here, this is we draw back slightly, and then you turn the heel,
Yeah, man, you gotta be playing with that one. Okay.
pull to the hip,
You two, when you were doing it, what did you feel
settle.
right or
Now,
wrong
it was
about that?
on 45
before
here.
you events?
And here, the hip
Um,
will turn
Well, in the,
as you do
God, it
this.
looks like it stays
This
straight,
allows
you don't have to exaggerate,
get
bend your
the
body too much,
distance
so you get
across
exposure.
the length of it. If you kept that hip back, you'd be doing this, as opposed
Felt
to,
like I wasn't getting my hip into the elbow
and then stand up into your
properly,
tits.
locking into the stance.
Second one, look.
What you were trying to do was 100%, you just had it out of order.
Side
That's
block
the
to
only
the
thing.
right, modified right to the left.
I'm building up to
Just
something.
too high up.
And it comes back to this position, off balance.
This one's hard to
This
stay
is
balanced.
important.
Because
Without wanting.
when you
When-
do the next break,
When we're working bunkai from
you're
like
not
a
sufficient.
punch, they're already moving, so
Next
it's
motion.
easy to off balance.
Shoot it across.
The bunkai is showing we're
And then
here,
what?
and they're in a static position. If you start with that
Next motion,
shot to the leg,
take this foot,
they're still stable.
step
So
behind
we're here,
and past.
and I grab a
As
hold
a
of
base
Greg,
foot.
and his first thing is to go for that leg.
Now, when I turn, these feet will be in a foot position before past. That's how you measure
Possible.
how
Let me,
where to place
I'll give you
it.
my thought process, and
So,
you're
when
not
you
wrong.
get back to here, what you're gonna do is you're going to do a middle outside block with this hand.
There is a thought
That
in kata
The one that's out here,
that
that's
I agree with in principle.
will become a
Some
middle
styles
outside
and
block.
some people say that it is an absolute. I hate absolutes because I disagree
Over
with it.
time, it's going to go
But
here.
as a principle and a tool in the toolbox, I agree.
A lot of people do it.
The principle is that the angle that you
In the
are in
grand
the
scheme of
kata
things,
is the angle that you
It
are
is.
to your opponent.
one, two.
So,
But
Greg
because
is
you
saying.
get from this altitude,
So in Kendo kata, the
This
first
altitude,
turn is a turn
it
to
has
the
a
left.
downward motion to it. Just don't turn it.
They
like
say the
this,
principle is that you're here to your opponent.
Because it's not.
In Naifanchi,
Okay,
you're
so now, we're here.
to your opponent. So how do we get there?
This foot across,
You just do like the first half of Naifanchi.
shoot though, straight down the line. Step, shoot though. Okay, tilt your hand upward, don't have
Okay, that's fine, yeah,
the evil wizard.
Naifanchi, there are three of them,
Sensei calls it evil
are
wizard.
in a
when he
straight
gets
line.
the Hands out flat, so you want them more upward. So think of sword.
Too many people in this world
Okay,
who
next one,
know Naifanchi. When you ask them, well, what is Naifanchi for?
spear.
They say it's for fighting along the
Okay,
wall.
this is in the front step.
Bullfight.
Okay, and it's about mid-level, so.
It is not that
Is not a long
on
range.
any shape, manner, or form.
Like, we don't
The
strive
fact
for
that it goes in a straight line side to side has nothing to do with where you are
short range move.
in three-dimensional
Just
space.
load it and just,
Matter of fact.
you always look over the
Just trust me.
shoulder of the leg that you're kicking.
You're
Yeah, you
here,
still have accents.
one of the last things you're gonna do.
Still 90% on your face, but 10% on your front foot.
You're probably not gonna go anywhere.
Hey!
Plus, how do you do all this on a wall, right?
Exactly.
So,
So-
in that
We're
position.
here, great grab.
It's basically straightforward, right?
Yeah.
It's not
This first motion here,
It's
out.
What you really wanna try to do.
like when you come, when
I
you,
use off
at the beginning of class and end of class,
Your thighs
that's your-
straight together.
At this
So it's not
point,
this.
this is
You don't
just
wanna kick like way off.
probably
line.
screw you.
You wanna
Okay,
kick
Lock
next
it
motion.
straight back
Right
to
here.
Look.
So if
Draw.
you.
Biggest thing I have to worry about is
you pick
throwing.
your thighs together.
or some kind of leg effect.
the swap hands.
Sorry,
The right hand is the middle out. There you go.
Oh,
Now, bring this a little bit.
now,
Okay.
this.
So back, step.
There you go. So if you look at it from the front, notice it's kind of more beside my head.
So the fact that
So it's this front.
the kata is showing us here,
Now the break.
so your opponent
In.
is
Good.
here.
Not there.
So it's the back. Middle outside. Toes,
So would that
turn
be,
to the left.
hey, that's what,
Remember,
hey, that's
90% of
another
the
way
back
to
foot,
do
you
it.
have to,
Okay.
when you change to that, you gotta go, which one's my back foot?
Is that, hey, that's,
It's on the promotion.
cause I
That's what
wasn't
you were trying to
intending-
do, or no, let me rephrase that, that's the order you were trying to
A little too
do.
far.
It should have been.
Next one?
Yeah, what you had all the pieces to a good part,
So,
you just put them in the wrong order.
towards this changing.
You get it. If I've got a hold of you here, And the first thing you do is lift that leg to do something.
Get towards the
I'm
angle.
gonna feel it, you're gonna go.
So when you move, you're gonna
You
go
need
from
to get my
this
brain
45
somewhere.
to this 45.
I know it's a lot.
What does the kata,
It's a lot. Wait,
Yeah.
you have 5 basic
This is the
blocks,
first motion.
five basic
It's a
kicks.
spear, kind of a long,
which is
long spear.
here.
I might as well teach you, run through 4 blocks, and run through 4 blocks.
I think I'm gonna do another video, because I was thinking about this the other day.
So
Yeah,
let's go back
Because
to
I don't know y'all's
the
background when I ask a
block,
question.
which is the-
Anybody know what topology is?
This kind of
Mathematics?
object,
Topology,
because it's your
mathematics.
fingertips,
Kind of sort of maybe a little bit.
more softer tissue.
But-
What we do
If
is,
you're looking up here, then you got.
In a manner of speaking.
I don't topographical map.
Okay, similar thing, okay? It has to do with like three-dimensional objects, multi-dimensional objects.
you load it behind
In
your
topology,
That way, when you take the step,
Now,
you,
so from here,
yeah, I'm not a mathematician, so I'm giving you Jerry's
you throw it on
slightly
the
educated
inward,
description of
place the foot here.
It has to do with like the number of holes in something and how you can stretch it.
with your
The
fist.
cat,
So
your
from-
placement of the foot,
So.
For a mathematician, topology will tell you that a donut
Throw the
and a
punch
coffee
like that,
cup are exactly the same
and
thing,
try to whip it around.
because they only have one
so
hole.
far, you're more this
And
way.
honestly,
Yeah.
depending
A
on
coffee
who
cup with a
talks to
handle,
you,
has a hole in the handle, but the rest of it is no, it's
well,
dented.
I was always told.
It's not a
You're
hole,
going-
right? So a donut has one hole, a coffee cup has one hole.
becomes
They are
loose,
equivalent
Next motion.
topologically.
and tighten it up right at the end.
Step forward.
In
Impact, but we're not gonna worry about
martial arts,
power.
the Pinan Shodan.
Fingers high,
Yeah.
elbows up.
So we load it.
From a topology of karate standpoint,
Let me do
this
We're gonna step
and
back
this
here,
are exactly equivalent.
reload.
So if we're gonna do a technique here, that would be equivalent
Turn into another
because we don't train our hands this
low
way.
elbow, high fingers.
Now, there are other things that I can do with this, but I'm talking just
What's that?
striking.
Yeah.
This,
Stomach,
this,
the whipping hand.
this,
and use it.
this
And we've done.
are all the same.
There's two.
So they're
You have
interchangeable.
to remember that this is
in
basically
the
an
application.
overhand version of a middle outside block.
This
You notice that my
is
hand's
the
one
same
distance away, that's normal for
this.
middle outside block. So
It's
basically,
where I
what you
end
do
up,
is
not
open your
necessarily
hand,
how I get
turn it
there.
out.
So the kata's telling me that I need to cross my legs.
You wanna keep it,
It might be telling me that I'm stomping across, maybe.
okay?
It might also be telling me that
Next
I'm
motion,
turning
take this foot,
to cross my
step
legs.
it to here. And
Homologically equivalent.
we're in a,
So,
And then.
You put your heels together and just twist.
You're gonna
Twist.
step,
Yeah.
load
You're in a
one
front
hand
stance.
behind you.
and this
Okay.
hand
Now, with that
going out.
So with that thought process in
and
mind,
maybe up in the middle
fix the
outside.
thing going.
So you want, well,
Load,
close.
step,
So we're here,
and the target, when you're aiming for.
so
aim for the
place,
temple.
I'm gonna take this hand just like it is.
You wanna have a little bit
I'm
higher.
gonna turn into a front
Whenever
stance.
you're doing
I'm
training
gonna close
by
this
yourself,
hand,
you wanna pretend
I'm
that
going
you're,
to
that
turn
you're
it
attacking somebody your size.
so the disc
So, like,
is
you envision
downward,
where
the
your
other hand
temple
is
is.
downward. I'm gonna start to pull this back
And you line it
to my
up
hip,
with that, right?
and then I'm gonna rotate this up. Now, you're basically just doing the outside block, but because it's coming from that low resistance, it has this kind of scooping to it. So you'll see some people going, this reaching the last Tuesday to come up here, too much time, too, not efficient. So from here, usually, I just do dry.
you know, we don't have you do this.
So you got more speed to get there sooner. Coming from, you're eventually getting to a middle outside block. But because it's on this side of the body, you have to end up going to this side of the body to make this motion, this impact in this direction. Because if you didn't, you would just do this. Which would be on one side. In this case, you're doing the outside block. So you
It's
gotta
not
pass your center and
You're
rotate
loading
it.
it low,
Okay?
so you're basically just hiding it. You're not like loading it way up here. You're just
One,
putting it right here.
it was the way that the founders ended up creating it. It's a very basic, it's an earlier kata, so the down block, the rising blocks, stuff like that are considered
He's
more of
asking
the
what is
basic
this?
or the first teaching.
I'm saying, just as you
Middle
said, this
inside
and
block.
this could be the same, I
In this
could
case,
punch down.
they
Absolutely.
didn't necessarily want
You
to.
ain't lived until you've been punching a full
They
bladder.
were just wanting to The middle outside.
Is there,
This is more or less the same.
Yeah.
you say fundamentally I shouldn't do it, but it feels like you
We
could
call
make
them
this
penons, they
this
call
too,
them hayons.
if he was low enough,
They're real close.
like say he would come in here, I
Showed off the meat on it. One of those
could do this.
is ours that showed off.
That's a good question.
If he was low enough, if he came in and tried to grab me at lower, I could.
There was a story that ours got flipped, so I think this might be considered.
I'm saying if you would like to grab,
Or like he was about to grab your waist and try to pick it up or something.
okay. This will do things, and this is a good technique, but what it won't do
We
is
had
it
it
won't
one
work.
time where it wasn't our
Especially,
fault, I guess it
again,
was
the higher
somebody
it comes.
Too high up.
previous to us, obviously.
Because for this
Went
one,
to
this is,
some kind of either demonstration or
there's
seminar or something like
Bunkai,
that.
and then there's Dojo Bunkai. You go to a lot of self-defense seminars, a lot of dojos who don't really understand Bunkai, and they will show things with a compliant uki. Oh, it works, until you get somebody who's not compliant. Okay, so they'll show, like, just kind of go, they'll show, oh, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna do this double rising block, and I'm gonna do this,
So this is what we got, so just watch first.
or I'm gonna come in here,
Draw
I'm gonna
to
do
the
this
hip.
big old, double thing here, and he's gonna let go, and I'm gonna do whatever.
Look,
Bullpucky.
draw to the hip,
Which is why you get him off balance and so forth first.
here.
Right, because all he has to do is just keep your elbows low and just tight this way.
I didn't show you.
I don't, kick, I don't care how
Shoot.
big this difference.
But if you went back
Make this.
and did it,
No, we're not talking about that, just quite yet. Now, this ain't gonna work. Same thing, this ain't gonna work. Okay? That's where that is important.
So the kick.
He grabs here,
which is balance, off balance.
and I change his balance.
Pop back in.
The Zushi is off balance or balance?
Kazushi is off balance. So, like you're saying, just this, if he's really determined, he's gonna do that, if he's wanting to hang on. Like, and then two, going back to just straight Kazushi. What is he really doing right at the moment?
Allowing you to do whatever.
He's doing nothing useful. Right? Until he starts trying to throw me or something, this is not useful. This kind of goes back to what I was talking about. This is just intimidation. This could be yelling and screaming.
But it's slow, so we got.
Hey!
Positions right.
That's the first one I'm gonna bring.
Now that means you're gonna be outside the front end.
Because again, all of this is tied up doing nothing useful at this exact second.
Look,
I
draw.
got everything available
There you go. Go change hand.
Alright, you man.
That was middle, this was higher.
Scott, did you have something for us tonight or not
I
tonight?
do, yes, sir.
Okay, Wolves, you're up. Alright, so that's it.
All right. This one just means thread. I can kind of vaguely imagine a thread being pulled through something there, I don't know. The word for thread in Japanese is just ito. The only Chinese reading of this is shi. That's really about all one can say about it. It's a thread. This one means east. From Chinese, the word is to. The Japanese word is higashi. East as in that direction. Nothing too special about it. One place you would know this one is Tokyo, you've probably heard of. East capital. Not to be confused with the other capital, Kyoto. Let's all stand up. Let's see. I have mentioned these 3 dots on the left side with a couple of other kanji, I think. Does anyone recall what those mean? Or what they tend to mean? I think I heard you say it. Yeah, they're a simplified version of the water kanji. So when you see those on the left side, usually the derivation of the kanji comes from something to do with water. Maybe a pretty remote derivation at this point. But in this case, we have the water on the left side. We also have these 3 lines here that I'm pretty sure are the kanji for rivers. So there's a lot of water going on here. And as you would expect, this means flow or stream, that kind of thing. The on reading is ryu, which I'm sure no one in here can say very well. Ryu. I can't say it either. Ryu. heard of the Japanese name Ryu, it's that word. It's rather difficult for Americans, one of the more difficult things for Americans to pronounce. There are a couple of verbs like ranking on it, so I'm not concerned about it. It means flow, like I said. It also can mean more metaphorically a trend or a style, kind of the way we'd say current events or that kind of thing. A trend or a style. So, we have thread east flow. Is that a description of the growth of the Chinese textile industry exporting via container ships in the modern era? It's not. Unfortunately, you aren't going to figure out what this means just by looking at the kanji. You actually have to look at the history of karate. So, I'm sure Shihan can give a much better version of the story than I can. I'm just quoting Wikipedia. But basically, back in Okinawa, around the turn of the century, one very important karate instructor in Okinawa there was a guy named Itosu Anko. He's considered widely to be the father of modern karate. He basically was the inspiration and founder of his work led to the founding of a lot of styles, including ours. One of the big things he did was that he was one of the first people to have the idea that karate should not be this thing that you learn secretly off in the mountains or whatever Okinawa has from a master and never tell to anyone. He had the idea that karate should be taught to the general public, especially it should be taught in public schools to Okinawan children. So he innovated a lot of teaching styles and kata designed for that purpose. Like the Pinan series that I was working on with Shihan today is one of his creations, I think. I believe he created the Pinan series. So, understandably, a lot of the founders of karate studied with Itosu quite a bit. Itosu is the family name, by the way, not the given name, because Japanese Okinawan names, family name comes first. Itosu, family name, Anko, given name. One of his students we're going to talk about, let's just call him Ken for simplicity. Ken, the karate teacher, like a lot of people, learned from Itosu. One of the things he wanted to do, though, was study from a number of different masters as well, learn all of their kata and their bunkai. Ken, as he became better known, eventually came to be known as someone who knew a lot about kata and bunkai, one of the best known people of that in the karate scene in Okinawa at that time. One of the more important people he learned from was a guy named Higaonna Kangyo. That's a mouthful too. What was important about Higaonna is that he did a lot of study in China with people who taught Kung Fu, especially the Fujian White Crane style of Kung Fu, I believe. And while Itosu's style of karate was a lot more like we currently consider stereotypical karate, the powerful low stances, direct strikes, that kind of thing, Higaonna took into his style a lot of the ideas that you see in Sifu Anne Marie's Qigong stuff, more of that circular, indirect, flowing motion kind of thing. He incorporated that into the Okinawan Te style. So our friend Ken considered those two styles distinct enough and the combination of those in his own teaching important enough that he eventually moved to Osaka, started teaching there, and when he had to describe his own style to people in Osaka, he had to come up with a name for it, and the name he came up with was by combining the names of those two of what he considered his most important teachers. So, Itosu Anko. The Ito in Itosu is this kanji, thread, because it's Japan or Okinawa, initials are not just initials, they're actually kanji. So, Itosu for thread. Higaonna, pronounced a little differently because Okinawan, but Higashi, Higaonna. So, you would think he would just call it Ito Higa style, right? No, because it's kanji, you have to change them to the Chinese readings because they sound cooler that way, because Chinese is the language of intellectuals. So, guesses on what the name of the style actually turned out to be? You can probably guess where I'm going with this. Own reading here, Shi To. Flow, style, trend, Ryu. Shi To Ryu. I feel like I had something else to say, but I forgot while I was putting those down.
Okay.
Any questions? Oh yeah, good important thing. Ken was actually Robert E. Ken, the founder of Shoes. I believe that's him up there on the far left.
Guy on the far left, yep. Excellent job, and I've got basically nothing to add to the story. Where you got it from, did very well, appreciate that. One thing that I will throw out, just as a kind of one of those bizarre karate coincidences. In the history of karate, there are about 3 very famous Higonas, and they're all different people, and they're all different generations. So you need to be really careful about which one you're talking about, because one of them is still alive at this point. As there's one that Scott was just talking about, then there was another one who would have been like the generation between around Mabuni and Matobu's time, was instrumental in putting together the Goju style. And then there's the current Higona, and I seriously doubt that they're all 3 related. I think it's probably like a Okinawan for Smith at this point. The way they look at it, kind of thing. I do have one question for you.
Yes, sir.
You talk about the kanjis kind of looking like what they're talking about. So if I squint real hard, use a lot of imagination, I can give you a thread and I can give you a river and all of that. How does that come up to east?
Sadly, I don't know that one offhand.
Okay.
There is a lot of complexity in how these things actually got created. The very, very earliest ones that they scribbled on turtle shells tended to kind of look like what they were supposed to represent because they didn't really have any other ideas. But over time, they started doing things like, okay, this one kind of sounds like that other one, so we'll just use it in there. And then we'll add this other thing to the side of it to clarify what we actually mean and so on. And then we'll add this other metaphorical meaning that comes to displace it as the main meaning and so on. So
Okay.
I know that kind of square shape with the cross in it is a rice field. I don't know if that's actually rice field or just something that ended up looking sort of like one as they simplified them. That's the other thing that happened. There have been a few generations in both Japan and China where they tried to limit the number of different shapes in kanji and simplified them to the point where they're no longer really recognizable as their original design for that reason. So sometimes, but not always, you can figure out what they mean by the shapes.
When you were describing it before, you were talking about the east, you said it didn't necessarily define as east, but it kind of defined as that-a-way?
As far as I know, on the compass, that away is east.
Okay,
He meant literally, because that's
okay.
almost.
I was just thought, calling it that-a-way would be different depending upon which direction it was facing, so I didn't know whether you were actually talking about the compass east or.
Yeah, east literally
Okay.
that way. As far as I know, it doesn't have any significant metaphorical meaning beyond that.
Anything else? Cool, Domo. Excellent job. That's it. Really? You gonna let him get away with that?
I'll let it go.
Somebody.
Kisuke? Shamani, right? Shihani, right? Otagani, right?
I got you. I stop. What the name? Go home.